John, how are you and your youth ministry doing?
I'm drowning! I'm gonna drown! What the?
Oh, so it's not going so well, is it? But have you seen the Tuesday Panic?
I'm drowning! I'm gonna drown! What the?
If you tune in and watch the Tuesday Panic, maybe you wouldn't be in this situation.
I'm drowning! I'm gonna drown! What the?
Oh, John, you're such a crybaby. Just watch the Tuesday Panic. Wow, are you loving the intros? I'm telling you what, I'm just going old school on the intros. If you have a better idea of some intros I could use, I am working on some ideas right now. Maybe you'd like to do an intro. Maybe you'd like to say, hey, and welcome to the Tuesday Panic. By the way, this is the Tuesday Panic. I'm Paul Turner, your host. Thank you for being here today. I want to do a couple of shout outs if I can. First of all, a couple of our new subscribers. John Gillian, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a subscriber today. You joined about a month ago. And then some recent subscribers, Jessica Lehman and Kathy Luthi. Thank you so much. Kathy, I have a little spot here coming up for you because I don't know if I did it in particular, but I happened to find something and kind of went along with something you said in one of your comments. So we have something for you today. But thank you. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to leave a comment below. And if you like it a lot, go ahead and share it with somebody. All right, so on to the news here. What's some things you can use if you're in a panic, by the way, and you may not be panicking because you have a youth meeting need or something like that. You may be panicking for an entirely different reason. So I have a couple of resources for you at the end of the for your own person. But right now, just a couple of things that you can use in your youth ministry, your small group, your Sunday school class, all those kind of good things. And so let's get on with it. Here's a story about Anthony Samaras, Connecticut barber, offers haircuts to homeless for hugs. This is such a great story. Listen to this. The 82-year-old Samaras, who is known as Joe the Barber, began offering his services 25 years ago after retiring from a career in business. He had cut hair for his family, but decided to put his clippers to work for the less fortunate after being inspired by a church sermon about the homeless. And but what a great story that is. And how can we use a story like that? How can we? Obviously, there's not enough good news in the world today. So obviously, any story you share. But here's the thought here. He heard a sermon. He did something about it. He's 82 years old. He hooks up his clippers to a battery underneath a folding chair, and the homeless line up and sit on benches, and they take turns. And he goes out there, and he says, "Why does he do it? Because he loves them." And he looks at the guys and says, "Hey, you guys know I love you, right?" Ask your group this. Use the story to start a discussion on, obedience. What do we do after we hear a message or hear a sermon? You can talk about the fact, what would you be willing to do for just a hug? How far would you be willing to go to serve somebody for just a hug? Because that's all this man does it for. And he's an awesome example of what it means to be a servant. So a great opportunity to use that. High school baseball team lifts car off Penn student, saves her life. What an important story that is, because it's you know what? Anything heavy and anything that requires the saving of lives takes teamwork. It takes a group of people getting it done. Real simple. Here's what the quote from the young man is. It says, first of all, it says a group of high school baseball players came to the teen's girl's rescue on Wednesday after she was hit by a car in the school's parking lot. She was pinned under the vehicle, according to Elk Grove Patch, and the students rushed over from their nearby practice to lift off the car. The girl's mother was driving the vehicle, etc., etc. And then goes on, one of the students quoted saying, "It was like a reaction. You had to do what you had to do to save someone's life." And I think that's such a great quote there. You have to do what you have to do to save someone's life. And of course, introduce that to your kids and say, what do you think? That's obviously what it took to physically save somebody's life. But what do we do to save somebody's life spiritually? What are we willing to do? Whatever we do, we have to do as a team. We have to do outreaches. We have to, be the church. We have to be all those things as a team. So tell me, how would you use that story in your youth ministry? Leave a comment below, and that'd be great. One last big, kind of not big, but news story at least. There was recently on Huffington Post, there is a story on divorce, and this may be good for your high school students and your young adults. It simply says, HuffPost recently partnered with YouGov to poll 1,000 adults about what they consider to be adulterous behavior, and a whopping 79% of people surveyed would consider it cheating if their partner sent sexy text messages or pictures to someone else. 60% said that forming a deep emotional connection with someone other than their partner would constitute infidelity. Only 48% of people surveyed would consider it cheating if their partner kissed someone else on the lips. 26% said would not consider it cheating if another cheating, would not consider kissing someone on the lips cheating, and another 26% said they weren't sure. So, and it goes on to say that, says, as for reaching out to an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend on Facebook, only 24% of the people surveyed would consider it cheating, and those who frequent strip clubs can sleep easy too. Less than a quarter of respondents, 24%, will consider it cheating if their partner went to a strip club. A majority of 61% would not consider it cheating. So, there you go. It's what we consider cheating in America. So put it to your kids. What do they think cheating is? And of course, that makes for a great relationship series, or it makes for a great meeting in that series. Well, what is cheating? And, obviously we got a divorce rate of 50%, both inside and outside the church. So the question is, how do we help our kids understand what cheating is, and when, what it is? And obviously it's wrong in all circumstances. If you're going to be faithful to your partner, to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you want to be faithful to them always and don't cheat. Obviously, we can give them some heads up as we do that. So, how are you going to use that story? That's a great story. Leave a comment below. Of any of these stories, which do you think are the best stories? Which story do you like the best? Let me know. A couple other things you may want to talk about. Let me just introduce a couple of videos. One is called The Magic Trick, and The Magic Trick is a nostalgic video that I saw. It was about basically passing along generationally this little simple magic trick. And you can see the link down below and go watch the clip. Tell me what you think about it. But you could use it with your parents. You could use it to talk about what it means to pass along something. You could talk about how we view faith when we are younger versus how we see faith when we are older. I think it makes that illustration. And so the things we pass on, makes a great video to pass out to your parents. There's also, I've been watching a series on YouTube. I like web TV. I'm very much into YouTube videos and web YouTube series and things like that. And there's one called Strip Search. It's not what you think. Don't click that button. Do not hit stop. It is about cartoonists and cartoon strips. And basically, there's a little game in here that you could use where the cartoonist has to describe the picture he is looking at to one of the other artists, and they have to draw it to the best, and they can't use anything else other than the dimensions and things like that. And I thought that'd be a great game or a learning activity that you could use with your kids to talk about how we see the gospel. Maybe it's maybe you have one kid to try to describe a parable, and they have to write it out or draw stick figures or whatever they're doing. You could have them, try to do the book of Revelation and try to see. John had got a visual and wrote it down, but when we pass it on, maybe they could, as you read the scriptures, they could go ahead and draw a picture of what that is. The throne of God in Revelation chapter 4, and the rainbow and the colors. Give them a bunch of markers and let them go crazy. It becomes a great illustration, I think, to how we visualize and see things in our own mind of spiritual truth and things like that. So you can use that. This one I think is for Kathy Luthi. This one's for you. It is the Brick New Testament, and that is from Legos, and there's a link down below. So if you wanted to teach, I did this with my Sunday school class this past week, and I showed it has the Revelation, and a guy took Legos and basically rebuilt the entire book of Revelation around that. It is very, very cool. Something you can do is you can take the pictures and slide them off and make a little slideshow and tell the story out of that. Really good for junior hires. You could take some Legos, obviously, and you can have kids create parables, create stories, create different things with those, and work as a team maybe and get stuff done like that. Another link there is really something funny called superhero text. What would it be like if superheroes text back and forth? And that becomes a great opener for your youth ministry. Just something fun to show at the very beginning. And then one other thing, if I recently did a blog post called "I'd Rather Have Jesus," and one of the lines in the song of the old poem that was later turned into a song is "I'd rather have Jesus than worldwide fame." And how much does that apply today to our society and YouTube and things like that, where people are trying to be worldwide phenomenons and they're trying to be, go viral and all these things. You can see the blog post. I took the song, a recent song. It was by, I think, it was a Jeff Johnson collection, and a young lady sings the song on the album. And I think it's a really great song. And I went ahead and I just had our kids sing it through twice, right off the CD, put the lyrics on the thing, and sang it with them. And it capped off a great worship time that we already had, but it reminded them that we'd rather have Jesus than anything else. That I would rather have Jesus than worldwide fame or, a million comments on my, Tuesday Panic or whatever. So anyway, that becomes a resource for you. You can go look at the blog post and see if that's something you can use with your kids. And last two things here I have for you today. They are songs, and I'm going to start including some songs on this. And the first is a song by John Elefante called "This Time." John Elefante, if you're not familiar with him, he is a artist that used to be with a band called Kansas back in the 70s and 80s. And he is a phenomenal singer, been a Christian artist for a long time now. Was a Christian back then when he was with Kansas. And he has a song called "This Time," which tells the story of a young lady, 13 years old, sitting in an abortion clinic, and how she is struggling with these inner thoughts and this pregnancy and things like that, and how the abortion clinic is trying to convince her to have this abortion and things like that. And I just think it's just such a awesome song that if you listen to the song, you could do a drama with this. You could use it as just a song of reflection. You could use it as a song of discussion about abortion in America. So many good things you could do with that. The last thing is this. Melinda Doolittle, if you remember her from American Idol, there you go. She has a song out called "Keep Me Going," and it is just a great song. And I encourage you to just listen to it. It's a powerful song. It really kind of got my juices going. That Jesus keeps me going. That's her song, and it was just on iTunes today. And so if you're looking for a song to encourage yourself with, to pray with, to have a little worship time with, it's a great thing to have. So anyway, thank you for joining me today for the Tuesday Panic. If you have comments, please leave them below. Thank you to all our new subscribers. Don't forget, if you're watching this for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. I would like you to join our happy group of panickers, Paul's Panickers. That's a cool thing. We'll all be Paul's Panickers. So hit that button, subscribe, leave a comment. If you liked it well enough, please go ahead and share it. But thank you. I'm Paul Turner. This has been the Tuesday Panic, and we will see you next week.